Hello, everyone. This is Tihesha of Good Karma, Bad Mom, bringing you episode 2 of our journey with MS. Me and Karma's. I was diagnosed with MS. So if you missed last week's episode, that's actually part 1. And if you haven't heard the first episode, go listen to that. Then come back to this episode so you can get the full story. Thanks for joining.
Good Karma, Bad Mom. Good Karma, Bad Mom. Good Karma, Bad Mom. Your new fave crew. Tell a friend tune in here so they can listen to.
So we do all that testing and everything, and then the call comes for me to go back maybe like a week later, and during this time as well too. So they're like, yeah, you have MS, and we know for sure. So I have lesions on my brain, which is like, actually it's not scarring yet. They're lesions. So a scar is more when something heals. So it's like an open wound, I guess, almost. All these lesions on my brain, on my spine, different parts of my spine, from the upper and the lower spine. And that's how come I was going through everything. And at the beginning, I was on steroids. Yeah. So I had to go for infusions at the hospital, and that was the only way. What's wrong? Oh, okay.
I know, but it's with chronic illness, you can't see them, and you're so strong to where it's like, obviously I know I've seen you have what was it when you were on the couch creating lesions.
Yeah.
So I've seen it, but it's just different when you think about it. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean you can't feel it. And I'll never know what it's like, and I'm not saying that I do, but it's sometimes it's hard for me to fully understand it.
Sometimes it's hard for me to fully understand, and it's hard for me to fully be able to articulate it to somebody. So, I get it and I appreciate it, because I think that's also one of the hardest things about having MS is because I look fine. Mm-hmm. And that hits on something that you said, and I was saving it specifically for the podcast, and I wanted to talk about it, was the fact that you had said, like, sometimes you don't say certain things that you're going through because I have MS. And I kind of felt like shit in that moment.
Well, you shouldn't, but
because I want you to,
it just sucks because I'm the type of person to where it's like I can feel okay, or just something will be wrong, but if I need to complain about it, it's like, oh, I really feel like, and there's just been a couple times where it's like I just look at you, and then I'm just like, it's like when you hear a Survivor story, it's like, oh, but I can't even get out of bed on time. But this one girl, literally head was about to fall off, she, like attempted murder, and she was able to like survive.
Right.
And it's like, oh.
And here I am whining about a hangnail. Yeah, no, I get it. But I still, what you're feeling is still valid at all those times. And when you said that, it kind of like, it broke my heart, because I want you to be able to, I don't want you to feel like you can't express those things just because I'm going through my stuff. I got what you were saying, just how you were just expressing it in that moment. And I get it, but I still... You're entitled to how you feel when you're not feeling the greatest. I know sometimes, and it's probably partly me too, because sometimes I'm like, damn it, I'm doing all this and I have MS, and you mean to tell me, because I'm like, I have
especially
something
when
that's
I did
going
Taekwondo.
On. Yeah, because I'm like, I have something going on, and I don't do it to try to make you feel bad. I really try to do it to like give you inspiration in some ways, like. We're so much stronger than this. And I tried to be as strong as I possibly can for you to just not to downplay anything that you have. It's just like, and I know that you depend on me, you know, my mom, not anything, you know, more than just being a strong woman, you know. It's just like, so it's just like, I want to be your idol. That's always been my thing. I don't ever want you to idolize anything but me. Like, I never wanted you to like, oh, this is my hero. I always wanted to be your hero. So I always wanted to be strong. Like, when you look at me, it's like, oh, who's your hero? You know, kids say, you know, Superman, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I always just wanted you to be like my mom. So I always try to be as strong as I possibly can. And sometimes it's like not even allowing myself sometimes to even express certain things until it's in that moment of like frustration. You're like, oh, I don't want to do such and such. So it comes out wrong.
But I think that's also just what we talked about before. It's you can say something that has such a good message, but the tone of it all, when I'm over here like, oh, I have a headache, I don't know if I want to go to practice. And then you say that, and then it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I say that, I think it's like, well, now I like, and that makes sense. Like, kudos to you. I'm not, like, you know, I would be annoyed too. But it also is an inspiration for me sometimes. You know, just now that I'm in college. But
it's something I shouldn't use it as a, like, sometimes
reverse.
Yeah, perfect. Sometimes it's just like, we all make mistakes. I'm learning. This is my first time going at it. So it's just like...
I saw something that said, it was like, be easy on your mom. This is her first time living life too. And it honestly made me tear up. If our viewers can't tell, it's very easy to make me cry. And her mom was just like taking photos while they were looking out like a window. And it just seemed so like youthful. And with that caption too had me bawling. Like, just thinking about it now, I might start crying again. So just, yeah, it's your first time living life. And I not to get off topic, but I feel like also a lot of times, even for me, I feel like as kids, we don't give our parents enough grace sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, my parent did this.
No, I get that. Sometimes sometimes I have to take a second. And I think it's like, if I'm mad with my mom, I call my sister. And she automatically knows when I'm mad because I'm like, your mother. I have somebody,
no one to do that with.
That's what I was just about to say.
I go to you when I'm mad, and sometimes when I'm mad at you, I'm just like staring at the wall. I can't go to Essence because he's going to be like, hey, not hey.
Well, I must say, sometimes he also gets me to take a step back because sometimes I can't get up to hear audience. And he'll be like, are you okay? And he's like, I get it. You know, it's the repetitive, you say this. And he has kids, so he knows how the whole repetitive thing is of just saying something over and over. He's like...
He is good with words.
Yeah, but he's like, you know, maybe calm down a little bit.
There's been a couple times where I came to him with certain things, like about my weight, because it's just like, I love you, and I know I can talk to you about it, but sometimes I already know what you're going to tell me.
I get that.
And
you don't want to hear it.
Yeah. But you're not coming from I've been big too, I understand. So it's just easier to go to him, and he always knows what to say. So I can see that. That's how my boyfriend is too. We got good men. Hello.
Yeah, so he tries to talk me down. So did some steroids, and it was so bad at the beginning. Prior to me being on a steady medication, I had to go for steroids every 3 days and sitting the infusions. I can't remember. I think it was like, they were like 2 hours long or something crazy like that.
And I feel like the infusions, I could be thinking of later on down the line, but I feel like they always lined up on like when something was happening. Like I had a Taekwondo thing, and then I always felt so bad because, again, listeners, I did not want to drive. Sometimes I still don't want to drive. I feel like the perfect example is when you had a crazy migraine.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, you can't really have to drive. instantly start bawling. So like, I was not the one driving, as horrible as it sounds. And also, I was still a little bit younger.
Right.
Since it was a couple years ago, I mean, it's just
and
like...
you weren't driving yet.
Yeah, I'm just figuring out getting my permit. So it was just like, if we had a Taekwondo appointment, a Taekwondo belt level up thing, who else is going to be there in the stands, you know? And thankfully, once Essence came in the picture, he could drive you there. But still, it's like you're tired. I feel like they always fell on like the worst day like you couldn't just come back home and rest.
Right, yeah. So that was just a little bit later down, and those were my infusions that I would get every 4 weeks, and those it was like clockwork. It was Friday. It was every 4 weeks, and your tournaments were not every Friday,
like
but they
happened.
Yeah, they happened on a Friday, so the timing was horrible. But the steroids, they actually kind of gave me energy in a way. Mm-hmm. So they weren't that bad. But the thing with those were, once it ran out my system, everything came back and hit me hard. So we had to find something that I can take after, because you could only be on steroids for so long. And I believe that I was on the steroid infusions for maybe like a month or two, and then I got approved for a different medication and took that, and those were the infusions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, was this before or after we did the MS walk, when they came to you, it was like, we can help support you?
That was when I started my infusions. I believe that was after. That was after I was on the infusions. And I'm not going to name drop the type of medications that I was on. So if anybody has MS or they're dealing with certain things, you'll just have to do your own research and definitely talk with your doctor to figure out what's best for you. So yeah, that was
very professional.
Thank you. That was my go at it, and I mean, I still struggle with it to this day, because there's just so many things that I know in myself that have changed so much.
It's actually perfect that you said that. And I mean, write down your thought or something. But
Yeah,
literally, my question is, what changes to your life did you have to make? Freaking perfect segue.
Yeah, that was, look at us.
Professionals.
We've been doing this. We do it. Repeat the question again.
What changes to your life did you have to make with MS? I can think of one, the having to not be in the gym for so long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that was a big change. Because prior to, I would be able to be in the gym for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Really just going in, doing my thing. Now, 30, 45 minutes, like 45 minutes, that's like my max time. I'm done. If I stop, maybe I could get myself to come back, but it's really hard.
Well, I'm also just thinking, having to, again, like we said before, chronic illnesses, you don't see them. But I feel like sometimes, since you're, my boyfriend, when he came and stayed with us and we're going to the gym, I just remember you being like, explaining it to him. And it's just like I feel like people don't think about things like that. I would like, if I didn't have to, if you were my mom and I was in his shoes, I wouldn't even think about that. And we are normally in the gym back at college for like an hour. Sometimes he's in there for 2.
Right.
So I just like, it's like people don't think of things like that.
So is in Essence.
I feel like they're in the gym for similar times.
Yeah, and he's really good about that as well too. So he knows my time frame. So not to get off topic, but to answer your question, really, it's everything. I mean, like the gym, but the way that my brain works now is completely different. I'm so forgettable about certain things.
But it's always nice to see how big your smile gets when you remember something. Like when you remember that smile, when you remember your teachers or anything in conversation.
Yeah, because it's the weirdest thing, because we all forget things from time to time, and it's so different because it could be words, it could be sentences, it could be just like anything. And when I tell you that there's no connection there, it's just like a big void. It's hard to really explain it, but I've obviously forgotten things prior to this. It's like a common thing to forget, but it's so different now. It's just like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Though I will say I've adapted to it, and I try to remember our conversations more. Like, I don't remember we were talking about it, but we were in the car, because most of our conversations happen in the car. And we were trying to talk about something, like, I can't remember it. And then I just remember, like, I'm walking out of my room, and you're just a ball of joy. You're like, this, that. You finally remembered it. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And you're like, I love how you automatically knew what I was talking about. I was like, yeah, because I try to, so that way we can just pick right back up.
Yeah, and I love that about you. I'm starting to write an MS journal. Coming soon. I'll plug that more later. And actually, you're in there. I talk about you. You're a big inspiration, because I love the fact that it's almost like you automatically know what certain things that I'm struggling with, and you just fill it in, like, without skipping a beat. It's not even like a hesitancy, like with me with missing a word or something. I don't know how you do it sometimes, but I'll just be flowing, and clearly there must be a break in the sentence. And then you're like, you fill in the word for me. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like,
you're gonna make me cry again.
Like, yes, you see me and I appreciate it. And there's like no frustration there.
I think with certain things like that, that's just pure humanity. Because it's saying, I can't imagine the whole like frustration thing. Like, have you ever had an instance where somebody has been frustrated with you?
Yes, I have. Yes, and I don't think that it's a humanity thing. And we've always said that we're going to keep it real and talk about everything. And I mean, I've had to talk about this with my man, because he just he's only met me with my MS brain. That's what I like to call it. He never knew me prior to we met. That when we started talking, that was one of the things that I told him. I've been recently diagnosed with this. He did research. I explained to him the best that I could. Yeah, and
that's always cute when I see one of my TikTokers. She's a cook. She just got diagnosed with POTS, and her man busted out a whole like packet of it. So that's always cute to see.
Yeah, that was like him, because he like comes with like a whole bunch of different stuff, and like, I did research on this. I found out certain things. So, but he had like a bad habit, and I've just had to talk to him, and we talked it out, of course, of when we're talking and we're talking fluidly, and then, like I said, it's the weirdest thing. It just stops. There's a void there. There's no, and he would be like this to like, come on.
Well, yeah, I think,
and that would just, it automatically used to just shut me down. And then after, like, I'm trying, like, you don't understand, like, I'm trying. So then we just had the conversation. I'm like, please don't do that.
Right. And I guess I do take back what I said about the humanity thing, because I'm thinking of, I've known you, and now
right.
So it's like, I already have known you for 19 years. So I already know how to boom, boom, boom. So I understand that. I feel like if I was just met you, I'd be like,
yeah, and I'm telling a story.
And I definitely, now that I think about that, can I erase my whole statement? Because I've definitely, like, when my boyfriend, he's like, I'm just like, what are you, spit it out.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I definitely understand that. So it's just.
Yeah, because sometimes people, like, you're, like, so into it, and you're like, okay, come on. And it's like, no, don't do that to me, because.
Yeah.
I'm trying here.
Because I guess struggling. I'm not thinking it as a person who's like, because if anybody else would do that, I'd just be like, stop it. If you can't, because I do that too sometimes, where I'm just like,
yeah, and I've done it to you. I'm like, spit it out.
But I just think, since I know it's coming from a different place, it's just like, hold your hand while you do this.
Yeah, and when you have something that's going on that's blocking it, it's hurtful. I know that the intentions aren't intended to be hurtful, but it hurts, because it's just like, damn, I already know I have this going on. Like, don't do that to me. Like, that hurts. So it's also just about talking about things. So yeah, so many things. Yes. So just so many things have changed. Just dealing with this new brain. learning to talk about things that, like, when I'm in pain and just certain things that I go through, and I'm still horrible even at that, because that's something that me and my man, we talk about, and he always wants to know, like, well, how come you didn't tell me? Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I tell him this as well too. I'm like, well, because nothing's gonna change. Like, you can't do anything about it. And he's like, yeah, but I want to know what you're feeling. And it's just like, I love that. And at the same time, I just feel like I'm complaining because you can't do anything. I can't do anything. There's no cure. Like, they have different medicines that can help with different things. I've never been a medicine type of person, so I don't even like taking those. I take my infusions that I have to stop certain symptoms or things from progressing at a quicker rate. So I'm already taking something that I
don't want.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to compound other things on top of it. So it's just like, and there's certain medicines that you can't even take because of where the pain is. It's nerve pain. It's not going to touch it. So it's just like,
yeah, I remember running around, be like, oh. But what you said earlier is, obviously it's two completely different things. But I understand how you feel with the whole, like, well, tell me. Because as we know, our viewers don't know, but as we know, we'll get into another episode, I had very bad coping mechanisms as a young teen.
Yeah, because you were,
teen. And one thing people don't tell you with certain things, if you rely on something for a couple years, it's hard to let it go. And then when you're in college and you're high stress, you know you're not going to do anything, but it just, those thoughts come back and it's hard to deal with. And so I just know that my boyfriend, he would be like, well, I'll tell him, like, I just really kept thinking about this. And he's like, well, why won't you tell me? I can help you. And I was like, I also, sometimes I don't like talking about my feelings.
Right.
I'll be there for you. Tell me. But you need to give me a good hour or so until I come, or you really have to break me down and tell me, like, well, this is why I'm feeling like this.
Yeah.
And so he was just constantly like, you need to get better with this, or we need to figure out something.
Yeah, that's me too.
But it's just so hard to, I don't want to tell you why I feel like this, because I feel like I'm just straight complaining and being, oh, what was me?
Right.
And I feel like also nowadays with certain topics, you can't talk about it because so many different people ruin talking about it. Like, I feel so weird talking about my ADHD because I do have ADHD. I do get hyperfixated on certain things. And there's just things that come with having ADHD that I like talking about it. And it's nice to be like, yeah, and be like, it's because my ADHD. But nowadays, it just feels so like cringe.
Yeah, it feels like with certain things, everybody has it.
Right, and it's like, no, I genuinely...
No, I get that. I completely understand where you're coming from. And I know it's probably more of this segment that I'm taking over than you. So do you have any more questions? Because I have more questions as well, too.
I have... Well, I guess I was going to ask, what was it like when something first felt wrong? But you already talked about that.
Right.
You know, and I must... This other question that I had, you already talked about, was how surreal did it feel when you first realized? But I think when you talked about when you went to the car, you know.
Yeah, even then. I mean, even now. I mean, if I pulled up my patient portal of me chatting with my neurologist, I'm constantly kind of like asking the same question, but rephrasing it in a different way. And I'm like,
biology class.
And I'm like, I know I already asked you this, but, and here I am just like, you know, and I know what the answer is every time with certain things that I ask. Yeah, but it's that surreal part of it, because it's just like, I can't believe that I went from not being sick. If you guys can hear right now, I have like a sinus infection going on, which, yay, it's attributed to my MS from my medication that I take. So once I take the medication, unfortunately, this is a side effect. So it's just like so many different things, and the pain. I'll ask like those types of questions, like, is this ever going to go away? Yeah. Are we sure that this is what this is? If I stop taking medication, then what's going to happen? And she's always like,
with my birth control.
Remember when you weren't taking anything and how bad it was?
I mean,
that's
I know
what you're gonna go back
smiled, but it's just thinking. It was more of a shock smile. So just thinking about you right before you got medication, first when it started, just thinking the pain you're in. Yeah, like don't ever go back to that. But that's how I sounded when with the poor doctor in the wellness center. She's sweet, but I'm always like, about my birth control, I was like, I know it's normal. Like, I know this is supposed to be, like, is it normal for me? But I just thought of a question. As soon as I asked it, I don't know if you saw me, I was like, just another example of, I can't remember if in the moment when we were there, if I was sympathetic. I hope I was. But I just feel like sometimes, again, it's just like, I think like, we're walking all day, so I also feel a pain. I'm assuming that's what you're feeling too. And not even thinking like MS. Mm-hmm. So when we went to Japan, because we went to Japan.
Hey, yo, that's another episode.
And we're walking like 10 miles, more than a day. How did that feel with, I know my body was sore, but what did your MS feel like? Especially with the heat, did that attribute to it?
So the thing is that temperatures definitely affect MS. That's like one of the things is I always like to say that my thermostat is broken. I'm cold all the time. I can overheat. It just really depends. I have to maintain like a perfect body temperature. But to answer your question, like yes and no, because I don't know if you remember, there was like certain times where I would just like, let's sit, like when we got the ice cream and I found that little curb to sit on when we were like, I tried to find things to where I could take a rest and it wasn't too noticeable.
Yeah.
Like to like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
So I try to like play it out. We got ice cream and I'm like,
wasn't it a fountain?
Yeah, I was just trying to, oh my goodness, that fountain, that was, so I think that that's helpful as well too. We'll just little quick talk about it. Japan, they're so accommodating in the sense that they're intuitive because there's vending machines everywhere.
Everywhere.
And stores everywhere. Stores have literally ice machines, bottles, ice water.
I miss it.
Yeah. I think that is what really helped me as well to get through, because whenever I would start to overheat or anything, bam, there's a vending machine. I could just grab a cold water. How many of those did I dump all over me?
When we went to the zoo and where's my iPhone?
Yeah,
Pull up a photo of you literally dunking your head into the dirty little water fountain. You're flashing it. You would have thought you just came from a desert. But I also just remember, like, now that I'm thinking back on the trip, I guess I'm just thinking like, oh wow, my feet hurt too. We've been walking around here all day. I want to sit down. Go. Yes. Like I was quick to sit down too. But it's just like with certain things, well, one, they were so cool. Like the bathrooms were cool.
Yeah.
Everything, they're 10 steps ahead of everyone, I'm pretty sure.
It seems like it.
But the frozen water bottles, I think about that. They're clear ice cubes.
Yes. Yes, it was great. So I think it was just so helpful because of that. So if I was feeling extremely fatigued or anything, there was things that I like eased in there.
Yeah.
That I was trying to.
Didn't even notice.
Yeah. And just your excitement because you had like this list of everything that you wanted to do, like that was just enough for me as well too. Like I've got to keep going. Like I'm not going to let this affect me because I have got to keep on going. Look at like just your face and just you want to keep on going. That was all I needed to keep on going.
You're such a good mom.
Oh, thank you. You inspire me. You're such a good daughter. You give me everything I need to, keep on going on. I truly try to be the best me I can be. So I want you to be better than what I am. Like that's always what I want is I want you to be a better woman. I know you say that you don't want any babies and that's fine, but I just want you to be a better person than what I am. So I strive to be the best role model for you that I possibly can. So then you can strive to be better than me. Because that's what I really want.
You truly are my idol. It's you, and then it's just you, Janet Jackson.
Next question. We're done. So now that you've seen me go through MS, and I mean, in certain fashions, if you had to explain MS to somebody,
this question,
how would you?
I just always say, because for our viewers, I'm in college. My major is biotechnology.
And this breaks my heart. It doesn't break my heart. No, I'm wrong wording. This fills my heart with joy, and it always brings tears to my eyes. The reason why you said that, this is
and I want to make medicine more like herbal, because I think there's too many chemicals in it. I take medicine, so it's just like, obviously so does my mom, but sometimes I struggle with taking my medicine, and I just want to find better ways to accommodate that. But I also want to find the cure for MS and just make better medicine. I've seen you go through so many different types of medicine, and I've seen the side effects. I know, like you said, steroids were helpful, but I just feel like you were very much rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, so not only that, I was up all night. It was hard to sleep on steroids. It definitely had a lot of side effects as well, too. And unfortunately, all these drugs do. I don't know about all the drugs, but I know the drugs that I have to take for my MS, they have side effects. And that was a big thing for me, was to try to weigh these out. Yeah. And it's just like,
yeah, well, it's hard to see. So I just want to make the medicine better, because I mean, I feel like I just want to change medicine, because also we just said right there with drugs. I feel like when you say that, I immediately thought, when you said all the drugs, I thought of like some cartel with cocaine, and I just want to change it. I feel like it's called drugs because there's so many chemicals, and I mean, especially, just not to go on a tangent, but in the hospital, I think about all the time is like how scary it is to have to be put on something so addictive. Like, I want to change that. And it's like my main focus, there's a couple classes actually, I think, like in my college, that goes over stuff similar to MS. So it's just like, I definitely want to go into that, because it's not that I want to. I will be figuring out something to make it better.
Yeah, I know you will.
You know, but when I do talk about it a lot, because obviously now that I'm in college, people are like, what do you want to do with your life? So I always bring that up. I'm quick to be like,
and how do you explain it? So like, do people ask, or do they already know what it is?
I think the only person that really known was my teacher. I will name drop just because she was so amazing, Miss Evans. She already had somebody that had MS, so she kind of understood. And then my old sterilized processing teacher, obviously he already knew. But I feel like there's only, or like adults, they'll kind of just nod, but it's like,
because it's like they heard of,
Yeah, but I was like, well, I just found out before this episode that this isn't the true reason, but I'm just like, my mom's immune system was so good, it started attacking itself. And so now her immune system is just attacking her.
Right. It's not because it was so good. My doctor has said that is like something that she sees in people, is like, oh, because I was telling her I don't get sick all the time. So maybe that's also where you got that from, because, that's what I was telling her. I was like, Doc, I don't even get sick like that.
Doc.
And that was the shout out to my doctor as well, too, my primary care doctor. So yeah, because
go ahead. Sorry. No, because I was thinking about it, because I feel like we hear in the media doctors not doing what they're supposed to.
Or believing.
I'm a big fan of House or Grey's Anatomy, so especially House. So it just feels like it's constantly like they're just being like, it could be this, it could be, and it's never. So the fact that she was just so quick, be like, this is what we're gonna do, and I feel like she's so takes the initiative. So I feel like I'm glad that we have her as a doctor, because she is very helpful.
Yeah,
because there's just so many times just doctors not helping.
Right, or not listening and hearing you, because I definitely, after everything, I was just like, thank you, because I've read things, and it's hard sometimes for people to figure out actually what's going on to get a diagnosis. And I guess like it's a good and a bad thing that everything hit me all at once. The only thing that was kind of separated from everything hit me all at once was just me losing my taste.
Yeah.
Everything else, it came bam, 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 bam. So it was just where some people experience certain symptoms and then it goes away and then it comes back. So for them to try to explain something, they never receive a diagnosis, so they have no idea what's going on.
Illness.
Yeah.
I feel like popular is crazy to say next to a chronic illness, but one that I feel like is talked about a lot is POTS, and I know people who have it, and just also, again, like I said, I feel like it's all over the media, and so it's just watching the testing for it and people just being constantly shocked, like years of trying to get a diagnosis, like, no, something's wrong with me,
right?
Or just with illnesses of any kind of sort, because I remember I have a thyroid illness. Thyroid, is that the right? Something's wrong with my thyroid. And I remember they were just so like, took us forever for them to be like, oh yeah, she actually does have it.
Yeah, that was something that was crazy too, because I had to fight. And I will say that Google came in handy then.
So I'm glad that
because I just
got
knew something was up. Yeah. And yeah, shout out to my doctor, because even when I was just like, I don't know, maybe it's nothing. And then she's like, no, come in, because you're never sick. You never want me to say certain things or not say certain things. I don't know why I said that. See, again, my MS brain, it's weird. Sometimes things just come out. And as soon as it comes out, I'm like, why'd I even say that? She was just so like, no, we're testing and we're going to find out what's going on, because if you're saying that something's wrong, something's wrong.
Right.
So that was nice. And I think that was all my questions. I still have more questions for you, but I know that our viewers have been here and we're not going to draw this out for too long, but this is a topic that we're definitely going to touch on multiple times, because obviously it's something that I live with, something that you live with, because there's still more questions that I have that I want to ask you to really get into how you feel with everything, because I think we just really went on the surface of it all. Yes. So I think we're going to cut it right there and we're going to call it a day. And we appreciate you guys for stopping by and joining us. And please come join us. You can see us on our YouTube channel and everywhere else that you listen to the podcast. And this is Good Karma, Bad Mom. And leave us comments. We have Facebook, Instagram, all under our podcast name, Good Karma, Bad Mom. Yeah, and as always, keep it real, keep it honest, and keep coming back.
And I'm gonna fight with you.
Good Karma, Bad Mom, your new fave crew. Tell a friend, tune in, yeah, so they can listen too. We get real, we heal, and start spilling some tea. 100% hard with a dose of comedy.